But it was okay because we were always in church. That's where we grew up. We were always, always, always in church, and it was all good. But there was one holiday that has scarred me for life. Easter. Now, for my, we all family, right? We all family. We've accepted that, right? Okay. For my good white family in the room, Easter is fun for you. You get to have Easter egg hunts. You go and fool around with real bunnies. Depending on how country you were, black folk ate them rabbits. We weren't trying to take pictures with them. Y'all got that one. But when I was little, Easter meant two things. First, Easter speech. Secondly, this. Get a good look at it. Now, for my good people in the audience that don't know what this is a torture device that they can use on terrorists. We're going to talk about this in just a minute. But first, I got to explain to you these Easter speeches, because I know I saw some frowns. And like my daddy, I don't like any confusion in the midst. So we got to back up. Talk about these Easter speeches. For those of you that don't know what an Easter speech is, when you were anywhere between the ages of 5 to 12, this was a way for you to be tortured in church. Usually your Easter speech, which was a haiku or a poem, was about 3 to 4 lines. And normally it sounded something like this. Jesus died and rose again. Happy Easter Day. That sounds real simple, right? Real simple. Wasn't nothing simple about this situation. Usually it was a woman in the church who did not have any children that was full of hell who was in charge of the Easter program. Normally she had a hip replacement and some gout going on. Hirsch. Hirsch. Now, children, we're going to get this together. All y'all got your Easter speeches. You got 2 weeks to get it together. Now, this woman didn't have a gun. She did not have a switch. She did not have a belt, but you were scared as hell of her. And she would sit right there at the edge of the pew and look at you when you got up there. Say it again. So by the time it was time for the Easter program, you were scared. You couldn't remember what you were supposed to say because you thought this woman was going to attack you. And that wasn't the worst part. The worst part about Easter don't worry, I'm going to make sure everyone in this room knows what this is. And trust me, it's going to sound as barbaric as it sounds. That's how it really was, okay? On Easter morning, depending on how many brothers and sisters you had, how many sisters you had, determine how early your mama woke you up for this. Normally, it was anywhere between 5:30 and 6. So you were sleepy. She would make you go in the kitchen, and there would be a chair, similar to an electric chair, right in front of the stove. And what would be on top of the stove? Sitting right on the eye. Just frying. This is also an example of how my mama is crazy. You would get in the chair. Now keep in mind, it's like 5:30 in the morning, so you're not really awake. But your mama would take this here straightening comb off the eye. And the first thing she would do is have a folded up piece of paper towel. That was help to cool it before it hit your head. Problem one. If you looked at the piece of paper towel, you saw where it had charred and fried the paper. That was what was coming for your head. Then, I should have brought this, but then they would have this great big old jar of grease. It was either green, yellow, or blue. And they would slick your scalp full of it. And then it would happen. They would take this and put it in your hair. But that ain't the thing. Your mama would try to get the littlest piece of hair and you know what you would hear? Does anybody know what? That was your hair frying off your head. But remember, I told you were asleep. Fool off and nod off just a little bit. Every young black woman in this room has had a burn on her forehead or the back of the head. How many burn victims do I have in the house?